strength of Milton, Sandra, just really strong there in the Gulf churning up.
Well, it's interesting because last night the pressure dropped to 897 millibars, which makes it and classifies it as the fourth lowest pressure ever on record in the Atlantic Basin. 180-mile-an-hour winds last night. Thankfully, it's been undergoing sort of an eye wall replacement cycle, which is basically when it just kind of gets its act back together. And so it's got 155-mile-an-hour winds right now, not quite as intense, but still that pressure is only at 924 millibars. In a hurricane, pressure drops, winds expand and intensify. Milton is north of the Yucatan now, still more than 500 miles away from Tampa, and it's expected to make landfall in that vicinity, right over St. Petersburg, it looks like, in the center of the cone. Still some margin of error, so anywhere from Sarasota all the way up to maybe near the Crystal River. But St. Pete, Tampa, it looks like going to get the brunt of it. And 125-mile-an-hour winds as a Category 3, at a minimum, I think, could be even stronger. And the timetable is now pushed back to 2 a.m. Thursday night. So it's not going terribly fast. And so the effects for us will kind of be pushed back more into early Thursday morning, midday Thursday even now. Continues though, it's sort of crossage over the middle of the peninsula in Florida with a Category 1 status, passes through Orlando and then exits near Daytona Beach, still intact as a Category 1 hurricane. So our takeaways, what can we expect? So we're on the south side of Milton. The northeast quadrant is the worst part of any sort of tropical cyclone. On the south side, we will still get those whip around rain bands. And because of that, we will see the potential for some isolated tornadoes. We will certainly see some hurricane force wind gusts, it looks like, around Okeechobee, where they are under a hurricane watch and a tropical storm warning. And we will also see those tropical storm force wind gusts and the potential for flash flooding simply because we already have saturated ground thanks to an area of low pressure just south of the peninsula right now. You can see Milton just spinning out here, a pretty impressive satellite view here now, just moving east-northeast at 9 miles an hour and still more than 550 miles away from Tampa to the south and west. A 9 to 12 foot storm surge is a deadly storm surge by any stretch. So that's why the mandatory evacuation orders have been issued. We got South Venice, Minnesota, all the way up to Bradenton in the mix for that peak storm surge, which they will see when Milton moves in. Here's that low pressure that gave us the rain over the last several days, and it's still very, very swampy outside. We're going to see it exit, thankfully, but we're still going to get rain from it as it exits. And then Milton starts to make more headway as we get into tomorrow morning. It's still in the Gulf of Mexico, still a good distance from Tampa by about 100 plus miles. And then it looks like Wednesday night now and into early Thursday, again, 3:30 Thursday, it looks like it's just starting to breach the land, moves across the peninsula, and we can see we are just on the periphery of everything. So overall, localized flooding, the rain bands moving through with those very gusty winds. That's our situation.